25 West Main Street in downtown Vermilion. The spot, Winnie Mays, is proud to support programming on Coyote News. The spot, Winnie Mays, providing salon and spa services for men, women, and children.
Coming up on Coyote News, SGA inaugurates their new president and vice president, and it's a big week for both USD basketball teams.
Also, learn why that late night cup of coffee might not be the best idea. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Hello, I'm Nick Nelson.
And I'm Celeste LaCourciere. We'll get to those stories and more, but first.
U.S. Air Force officials fear 3 are dead after a military plane crashed during a training flight in New Mexico last night. The plane crashed in a field close to the Clovis Municipal Airport near the Texas border. Cannon Air Force Base spokesman says that the names of the aircrew won't be released until confirmation of their status and next of kin have been notified. An investigation has begun into the cause of death. The U.S. Justice Department has indicted 4 people, including 2 Russian security services officers, in a data breach at Yahoo that affected at least 500 million user accounts. The 2 defendants are Russian FBS officers, and other 2 are criminal hackers. One has been taken into custody in Canada, and the other is on the list of the FBI's most wanted cyber criminals. A suicide bomber detonated his explosives vest inside the main judicial building in the Syrian capital today, killing at least 30 people and wounding many others. Another suicide explosion struck a restaurant in Damascus, resulting in an unknown number of casualties. These are 2 of the latest targeting government-controlled areas in Syria. The country has been in a civil war for 6 years, killing more than 400,000 people and displacing millions of others. And those are your headlines. Now let's take a look at weather with Lauren Solik. Lauren?
Today will be the last day of cold temperatures before they begin to climb for the weekend. Currently, it's 36 degrees. Tonight, the temps will drop down to 29 degrees with the wind blowing 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny with a high near 56 and a nightly low around 12. The wind will increase tomorrow night and into St. Patrick's Day on Friday, with some gusts reaching 30 miles per hour throughout the day. Friday will be slightly cooler with a high of 53. The nightly low is 26. For your weekend, Saturday will remain in the 50s with a high of 51. Sunday will bring a high of 66, so much of our new snow may be gone by then. Monday marks the first day of spring, so get outside and celebrate the end of winter this weekend. And that's your Coyote weather.
The new Student Government Association members were sworn in at last night's SGA meeting. Former President and Vice President Nathaniel Steinlicht and Michelle Novak led last night's meeting before the newly elected administration was sworn in. Tegan McNary and Josh Anderson won the SGA election with over 800 votes.
I think it went really well. I think that we're both really excited for our new administration, our new exec team, and I'm just looking forward to the rest of the year.
Now we're just looking forward to filling our Senate, getting the rest of the seats filled so we can start passing legislation and doing more.
The newly elected Senate members were also sworn in. The Senate then voted on the new office manager, business manager, and the external communications manager. McNary and Anderson say their first order of business will be a slight change to the SGA bylaws.
The men's basketball team will be seeing lots of red tonight. The athletic department organized a free USD fan bus for the men's first round NIT game in Iowa City. Students loaded the bus outside the Dakota Dome to make a 5-hour trip to Iowa City.
Well, I'm from Iowa, not an Iowa fan, but I'm excited to go see their arena, and I'm just excited to cheer on the Yotes and watch them play basketball, I guess.
Students receive free tickets courtesy of President Abbott. The USD cheer team was also along for the ride. The bus was scheduled to leave at 10 this morning, but with the start of tonight's game getting bumped back, the bus rolled out at noon. The start time was changed to 8 because of the blizzard conditions on the East Coast that postponed the Syracuse game tonight. Coming up, find out what decisions the university makes about your food before it hits your plate. We'll be right back.
awesome because it's challenging, both mentally and physically.
You gotta love climbing because even when you're not climbing, you get a great view.
Climbing's great because I feel like Spider-Man.
Climbing is great, because even my nerd friends can do it.
Climbing's awesome because there's always someone who has your back.
Come to the rock wall and figure out why climbing's awesome for you.
I wanted to be a student ambassador because I wanted to be able to give prospective students my view of the campus and so that they can enjoy the university as much as I do.
It's bringing the next generation to USD.
It was a real personal experience more than just, hey, here's a big university.
You're coming into a family and we want you to feel welcome, we want you to feel loved, and we want you to feel confident in your decision to become a Coyote.
It's fulfilling,
energetic,
impactful, community,
challenging,
knowledgeable,
fun,
professional,
the future.
I just love USD.
This is Coyote News.
Welcome back. In order to ensure the safest possible environment for USD, the university requires students get vaccinated. Coyote News reporter Haley Westfall went to the Vermilion Sanford Clinic to find out the process of getting these vaccinations.
Commonly known as MMR. These are required for all new, readmitted, or transfer students. The USD vaccination form states that students who fail to provide proof of these records will be refused registration and not be able to attend on-campus classes. Burbach goes into detail about why having these up-to-date are so important.
They prevent some life-altering diseases, and these diseases that they could that the immunizations prevent are very contagious, and if people come to campus with it, it would spread very quickly.
He goes on to say if you don't get these shots, you're not only harming yourself, but others as well.
Again, they wouldn't have immunity, and they could contract the disease or illness, and then when they come to campus, they would spread it through campus if there's other people that hadn't been have the immunization.
Beyond the required MMR vaccination, Burbach explains there are multiple recommended vaccinations, such as tetanus, chickenpox, and Hep B. To see if you're up to date with your vaccinations, contact the office that administered them for records. For Coyote News, I'm Haley Westfall.
A cup of coffee may be what some students look forward to during an early morning and long day full of classes. Coyote News' Sophie Heineman explains how much caffeine is too much.
The cold weather can make walking to class a hassle for some, but grabbing a warm coffee as a pick-me-up may make it a little more bearable. March is Caffeine Awareness Month, and the side effects of too much caffeine can actually reverse the effects you might want to achieve.
Studies show that 78% of college freshmen consume more caffeine per day than they should be. The Mayo Clinic reports that more than 4 cups of coffee a day can be harmful to your health by causing insomnia, nervousness, irritability, and much more.
U-Brew employee Taylor Nelson says that while she knows there's a limit to the amount of caffeine you should intake, she usually adds an extra shot in her coffee.
The small gets 1 shot of espresso, then the medium and the large get 2 shots of espresso, and you can put as much as you'd like or as little as you'd like in each of them. Nobody should get more than 5 shots of espresso a day, but like the maximum amount is usually around 2 to 3.
So, before you race to get your caffeine fix, you might want to consider the recommended guidelines for caffeine. For Coyote News, I'm Sophie Heineman.
CaffeineAwareness.org can offer more information on the dangers of caffeine and tips for living without it. While many students enjoy on-campus dining,
or some of the
a few take into consideration how the food gets to their plate. The Yote Report's Nathan Finster shows the decisions that take place for each meal on campus.
Whether it is residential dining or some of the fast food chains located at USD, many students are seen eating on campus. However, why is the food that is seen on campus chosen? Brody Stone, the night supervisor for residential dining, says that many decisions come into play.
They get a corporate menu, and they get to choose from meals and recipes from that to serve, and we try to get the biggest variety that we can.
Stone says that they are required to serve particular foods each day to meet nutritional requirements.
We always have to have salad bar. I know we have to have certain numbers of options.
What about students with different lifestyles, such as veganism?
We do have always a vegan station available for anyone that would like the vegan food. We also do prepare vegan burgers.
Stone says that campus dining frequently asks students about their opinion of the food. However, they are mostly ignored.
Every Wednesday, we hand out survey cards, and in those surveys, students can give their feedback on meals or what they would like to say. Unfortunately, not many people fill them out, and so we don't get a whole lot of feedback that way.
Despite this, Stone says that USD offers many different options.
Over the entirety of campus, I would say that there's a pretty good variety of food between the residential dining here, which changes things up on a fairly regular basis, to just like the Wok, Chick-fil-A.
For the Yo Report, I'm Nathan Finster.
For more information about campus dining, head over to the USD website.
Still to come, Coyote Crystal takes a walk through the muck to talk with students about St. Patrick's Day. Find out what they said when we come back.
Hey Madeline, why don't you explain what improv is?
Well, improv is just kind of thinking on your feet and creating a scene out of nothing. Our first goal is we accept anyone and everyone.
Our second goal is that we focus on improvement.
And also our third goal is we just want to bring comedy back to campus.
We like making people laugh. And that's one of the reasons why we think you should come to Improv Club, for laughs.
This is Coyote News.
Welcome back. It might be a good idea to get rid of your fake ID. Colleges are a hotspot for fake IDs, and getting caught using one could have more consequences than you would think. If you're caught using a fake ID, it could be classified as a second-degree misdemeanor. Offenders would also be fined up to $200 or spend up to 30 days in jail. Your license could also be suspended anywhere from 30 days to a year. Underage people aren't the only ones who have to worry. Businesses who get caught selling to minors could face fines, license suspensions, or even lose their license. If you're underage, trying to purchase alcohol, and the business catches you, they have the right to take your fake ID. The TSC Tractor Supply Company is currently moving in next to Hy-Vee. Renovation of the building began in January and is well underway. TSC will bring in new jobs and shopping choices to Vermilion. The new company is moving into the former Pamina building, which was vacant for many years. TSC will sell a variety of products and is currently hiring. The store is expected to open for operation later this spring.
Visiting artists Remy and Desiree Kane will be on campus tomorrow and Friday. The two plan workshops to educate students on how movement art can change the world. Coyote News' Devin Martin is live in the muck with Remy and Desiree to talk about their campus visit. Devin?
Thanks, Nick. So Remy and Desiree also have another event called Promote Yourself as an Artist on Friday. So thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you.
So Remy, can you explain to me the importance of movement art and why you wanted to bring it to the USD campus?
Art's very important in terms of social movements throughout the years. Artists have been tasked and given the responsibility to create the images that a lot of people march behind, a lot of people identify with. And it's very important that, artists really take a look at their role in society and figure out how we can use it to make a better place for all of us. And I think pushing creative boundaries, I believe, is the way to do that, especially through any medium, really, but really addressing the historic issues of, you look at slavery, you look at abolition, you look at all these social movements that have come up, and you've seen art all the way around it. And pushing its boundaries. So art is what really drives the change in a lot of settings.
Very nice, thank you. And Desiree, can you explain a little bit your work as an activist and how it kind of shaped your career in general?
Yeah, so I'm a journalist and a multimedia event producer, and a lot of my activism has exposed me to people who would be either in my journalism or potentially speakers at the events I put on. But so the event that we're doing and part of this workshop series is about how to get yourself out there to journalists and other media makers so you can elevate your voice as an artist.
Very nice, and thank you both for joining me today. I do appreciate it. And Remy Desiree's first event will be tomorrow, starting at 2 o'clock p.m. in the Fine Arts Building, room 172. Live in the Muck, I'm Devin Martin.
Thanks, Devin. In this week's blog, Coyote Crystal discusses St. Patrick's Day with students.
This is a really, really important question for you. What is your favorite part about St. Patrick's Day?
Having fun with other people and friends and family, enjoying the moment.
Well, we're coming into the home stretch. Only 2 more days until the world's best holiday. And no, I'm not talking about my birthday. I'm talking about St. Patrick's Day. This week on Coyote Crystal, I wanted to find out what USD students thought about this great green holiday. How's it going? Oh, you got some awesome green shoes. Do you see these? Get that. It's pretty cool. Will you guys be celebrating St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, heck yeah.
What's your favorite part about St. Patrick's Day?
The parades.
I get to pinch people who don't wear green.
That's pretty cool. Are you more of a St. Patrick's Day gal or a Valentine's Day gal?
Probably St. Patrick's Day, because Valentine's Day I sit at home and eat pizza.
What's your favorite part about St. Patrick's Day?
I like just dressing up in green and hanging out with my friends and, St. Patrick's Day parties.
Are you wearing green today, like as a pre-celebration for St. Patrick's Day?
It wasn't intentional, but I mean, yeah.
Are you more of a Valentine's Day person or a St. Patrick's Day person?
St. Patrick's Day.
But yet you're wearing pink. So do you pinch strangers or what?
If I have to.
So Levi, I heard spring break was a pretty busy time for USD athletics. Any signs of it slowing down soon?
Absolutely not. We've got things on basketball, softball, as well as the track teams, and those are coming up next in sports.
Your fire attack. Your fire attack. 1926.
Coyote Twin Theaters in downtown Vermilion, providing entertainment Tuesdays through Sundays. A proud supporter of USD student media.
This is Coyote News.
Hello, I'm Levi Goots. Tonight on Coyote Sports, we take a look at basketball postseason action, and the Coyotes now have a national champion. But first, the headlines with Lauren Solek. Lauren?
The U.S. women's national hockey team is threatening to boycott the World Championships because of a wage dispute. The team announced this morning that they'll not participate in the International Ice Hockey Federation tournament beginning March 31st. Players say they don't plan on reporting to training camp next week unless progress is made toward fair support and wages. Representatives for USA Hockey haven't commented on the announcement. Sophomore Ellie Burns has been named the Summit League's Women's Tennis Player of the Week. This is Burns' first award this season and second of her career. Burns earns the award after posting a pair of comeback victories last week. USD head football coach Bob Nielsen announced the team's spring practice schedule. Highlighting the schedule is the spring game, which is set for April 21st at 7 p.m. All 14 scheduled practices will be held inside the Dakota Dome. The full schedule can be found online at goyotes.com. And those are your headlines.
March Madness is officially underway. The men's basketball team will make their NIT debut tonight against the Iowa Hawkeyes in Iowa City. The Yotes received an automatic bid into the tournament after winning the Summit League regular season title. The men suffered a tough loss to rival SDSU in the semifinals of the Summit League tournament last week. This is the Coyotes' second postseason appearance at the Division I level. USD competed in the CollegeInsider.com tournament back in 2010. The game will be televised tonight on ESPN2 starting at 8. Joining the men in postseason action will be the women's basketball team. The Yotes earned an at-large bid into the women's NIT and will host North Dakota tonight. The women suffered an early knockout of the Summit League tournament after losing to Omaha in the quarterfinals. This will be the women's 7th straight season competing in a postseason tournament. USD won the WNIT last season, and it holds an 8-2 overall record in the tournament. Tip-off is tomorrow night at 7. Freshman pole vaulter Chris Nilsson captured the indoor national title by clearing 18 feet 8 1/4 inches at the NCAA championships. Nilsson tied his personal best height and still holds the American under-20 indoor record. Nilsson won every meet he competed at this season. Teammate Samara Spencer joined Nilsson at the championships, competing in the long jump. Spencer placed 16th with a jump of 18 feet 2 1/2 inches. Spencer earned second-team All-American honors. Coyote News' Andy Hartman is live in the muck to talk with Chris Nielsen, the top college pole vaulter in the nation. Andy?
Thanks, Levi. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so you're national champion now. Was this a goal of yours when you decided to come to USD last year?
Yeah, it was definitely my goal to come in and not necessarily be a national champion, but just kind of do the best that I could at the national meet. And I was really grateful for South Dakota giving me the opportunity to go there and compete for them, so that was the goal.
All right, and you've had a lot of success so far this season. Are there any kind of pre-meet rituals that you do to kind of get ready?
No, just make sure I eat really well the week before and sleep really well the week before, and then make sure I just get a lot of good training in before the meet, and if that all happens, then I'm usually pretty good.
All right, and you're transitioning from kind of your indoor season to outdoor season. Have your preparations or your practices changing at all because of that?
No, they haven't. Back in the beginning of the indoor season, we did a little stuff where we would stem up, like my coaches like to call it, and get us ready for the first few meets, and that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're kind of relaxing a bit off of nationals because that was a lot of mental and physical pressure. So right now we're just training back up for that, and then we'll be good to go for Arizona in a couple days.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Yep, thank you.
Right. The Coyote track team travels to Arizona on Friday. Live in the muck, I'm Andy Hartman.
Thanks, Andy.
All right,
the softball team was in
Thank you.
Seattle for the Husky Classic last weekend. The Coyotes lost to both Washington and Minnesota by scores of 8-0, followed a canceled game against Seattle the previous day. The Yotes have one more tournament before starting Summit League play next week. Divers Isaac Morris and Grayson Herding represented USD at the NCAA Zone D Diving Championships. Herding advanced to the finals for the 1 meter in the first time in her career. Herding finished 17th on the 1 meter and 33rd on the 3 meter board. Morris placed 22nd on both the 1 and 3 meter boards. The men's and women's golf team traveled to Las Vegas for the SDSU Jackrabbit Invitational. Freshman Hunter Paugh was named the Summit League Golfer of the Week and finished in a tie for 11th, while sophomore Tommy Vining tied for 18th. The Coyotes tied for 4th overall out of 12 teams. On the women's side, senior Brenna Lervik finished with a tie in 7th, and teammate Abby Dufresne ended the tournament with a tie in 16th. The women's team continues their season at the Sacramento State Invitational this weekend, and the men are playing in the Grand Canyon Invitational in Arizona. That's a look at sports. Coming up after the break, we ask students if they participate in March Madness brackets. Their answers are next.
Fostering is when you take in an animal into your home and you take care of them until we can find them a permanent forever home.
If you can find it in your heart to do it, it's rewarding.
We do all the vetting, the neutering, the spaying, the medications.
The Humane Society has lots and lots of great dogs and cats that can pull at your heartstrings and make you realize you got a little more to give.
This is Coyote News.
In this week's Out and About, we asked students if they take part in March Madness. Here's what they said.
No, I'm not. I don't watch sports for the most part, actually.
I'm not. I don't like basketball.
It's something that the school's hosting, or is that typically what they do at bars, I think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I will. I have zero time to focus on who's actually going to win, but if Duke wins, I'll be happy. Yeah, I am. March Madness, to me, I love it. I've always been a competitor in sports.
Always do it. I don't know anything about basketball, but I like to fill it out because it's fun.
No, particularly because I don't much care for sports.
Maybe if the Yotes are in it.
I'm a student athlete, and that is not right.
It's against NCAA regulations to gamble.
Oh, no, I won't.
Nope.
No, I should.
No, I will not be participating.
But actually, I heard that people that don't know anything actually usually win, so maybe I will now.
That's all for Coyote News. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
And be sure to listen for KYOT and KAOR daily updates throughout the week.
Thank you and have a great night.